he rushed out into the green grass around them and phoned Camilla and said, what am I going to do? This is just terrible. And she helped him get over that. She wasn't interested in saying, oh, goody, we can start going together again. She just tried to help him in his sorrow, because he did love her at one level. The marriage didn't work, but he did love her at one level. And she helped him that, be with the children. This is what you've got to do. Don't worry about me.
Angela Levin, Queen
Yes.
Camilla's biographer, how has she gone from being the most hated woman in the UK, and I'm not exaggerating saying that, to your best royal of 2024?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, I think one of these things is that when they first met in their early 20s, they just clicked. Sometimes you can have that with someone. You just click. And Charles just said she was the only person who really seemed to listen to him. They laughed about the same things, very good sense of humor, the same sense of humor. They liked walking in the country. They liked horses, they liked dogs. They had an awful lot in common. And the only reason they couldn't go further was that she was not a virgin. And at that time, the heir to the throne could only marry somebody who was a virgin. And Diana was tested for this. I mean, can you imagine? Nobody could even believe that now. And she'd had experience, and she was older. And so it just didn't work. They were forced not to do that. And Charles was looking for a marriage, and he just had to get on with it. But they didn't speak to each other for several years. Once he'd got engaged, she didn't want to interfere. There's lots of people saying that she was on the phone all the time, and she was not. But what happened, how they really got back, was when Diana had parted from Charles, and he'd got more and more stressed, and he felt that he'd not given her what she needed, and he felt terrible. And then two of his friends were so worried about his depression that they rang her up without telling him, and they said, for goodness sake, please help him, because he's in a terrible state. He really needs you, and we're very, very worried about him. This was that time when Diana had already had one, if not two, affairs. So it wasn't that she was just fed up with him. And he did speak to her, and then they got together again. And despite the Queen thought it was as appalling, because you can't have a woman like that for a future queen. And she didn't go anywhere near where Camilla was for a long time. And they just carried on like a loving couple, really. And eventually the Queen and Prince Philip, who also didn't want to know anything about it, felt that he wasn't going to give in. Now, the interesting thing was that Prince Charles then had always wanted to please his parents, that he really wanted to. And he felt he wasn't doing enough, because, he liked flowers, he liked music, he liked reading, whereas Andrew was much more macho. He liked to fight and to play all sorts of football games. So he felt that he wasn't up to scratch. So it was very difficult for him, but he decided he would not give her up, and he'd always tried to please them. But this time, bang, he was going to stay with Camilla no matter what, which is an incredibly big decision, really. And to go against his much loved parents, very, very difficult. And so the Queen accepted it. And gradually they could see that actually she was going to be a brilliant asset to the royals, because she understood him. He was now very relaxed. He was happy, and he was much better at doing things. That she was now doing work. She didn't have a career. She wasn't interested in that really. But she started doing things for osteoporosis. And the more, she said, the more she started doing it, the more she felt she wanted to do things and that she could help. Now she was in the more senior man, she could really do things to help. And she was doing this because her mother and her grandmother died from osteoporosis. That's crumbling of bones. And then she started taking more and more things. And that's how they felt, my goodness, you know, she's doing incredibly well. And she was devoted to the royal family. She's devoted to the country. And so the Queen got so pleased with her. She put away the Queen. What she did was she didn't talk about horses and dogs and anything like that. You know, she wouldn't go that far because she might have liked her. But eventually she started doing that. And there was a wonderful time when I was writing her biography, and I had a phone call saying, would I mind going to Buckingham Palace that afternoon? There's something I might be interested in. I said, what is it? No, we're not telling you. We're not telling you. It's a secret, but you'll be really pleased. It's a secret. So I rushed there, not knowing anything about it. Camilla came up, said, hello, how are you? Nothing. I said, I'm here. I don't know quite why. She said, oh, we're not telling you. It's a secret. And then suddenly out came the Queen. And Kurt said we had a little chat. And they said she'd hidden from the Chinese leader because she was bored with him. So she hid behind some trees. And she wanted to come because that amazing man was going to show how to train a horse who'd never been ridden in half an hour to get someone to ride him. So they sat down, I sat down near them. They talked non-stop about it, non-stop. And I realized that this was done for me incredibly nicely so that I would realize that the Queen and Camilla were now getting on terrifically. They loved this show and they talked non-stop with each other. So I was very grateful for that, actually. And then they knew about the wedding, and the Queen then sort of melted, and they were very close. Getting on very well. And Princess Anne, who also wanted nothing to do with her, thought that she was a great asset. And she said after Charles became king that she's amazing because she hasn't come into this world to understand how the whole royal family works. And she's done brilliantly. You know, she's marvelous with him, marvelous with all the things that she's doing. And so she's done it. And she said as well that she's not going to try and be different. She's going to be who she is, and she hopes that the people who like her will like her, but she can't help it if people don't. This is who she is. So she's quite strong in that. She wasn't going to be phony. And that's how it all came about. That's why she's got wrinkles. She's not trying to pretend that she's decades younger. She's who she is. And she obviously is now admired enormously.
Angela, can I just take you back to 1997, though, and ask how Camilla was impacted by the death of Princess Diana? Because that was the period where she really did become hated, reviled, and presumably her dreams of being with Charles at that point felt crushed. First, though, hot flashes, sleepless nights, weight gain, joint pain. I know a lot of you are dealing with or have dealt with these symptoms, especially the women in the Outspoken family. Obviously, I've not experienced menopause. That would be genetically impossible. And you know, I'm all about the science. But I have heard from so many of you about the challenges that come with it. So today, good news. Many of you will have heard me talk about Verso before. I've been taking their product all throughout last year. It was absolutely transformative for me. But today I want to focus on the amazing women out there, especially those dealing with menopause or perimenopause. This phase of life I know can be tough, But Celbene by Verso is designed to target those symptoms head on by addressing the root cause. It's formulated with ingredients that are proven to increase NAD plus levels in the body. That's huge because NAD plus is what keeps your cells healthy and energized, but it drops off as we age and especially during menopause. Here's the thing. Boosting NAD plus can make a big difference in how you feel. Women who've taken Celbene are reporting some pretty amazing changes. Hot flashes disappearing, more energy, joint pain release, weight loss, and mental clarity. I've even heard from some viewers who've told me their periods have come back or have become regulated, and they feel like they've turned back the clock on aging. The ingredients in Celbene have been shown to balance hormones without going the traditional hormone therapy route. It also helps with inflammation and metabolism, which is especially helpful for managing weight and keeping you feeling your best. Plus, these research-backed ingredients have been shown to improve bone health, which is crucial for postmenopausal women at risk of osteoporosis. What I love about Celbene, and I think you will too, is that it doesn't just mask the symptoms of menopause, it tackles the root causes of aging, helping you feel stronger, healthier, and more energized from the inside out. If you haven't tried it yet and you're ready to take control of your health and feel more like yourself, click on the link in the description on YouTube and Rumble, or head on over to buy.ver.so/outspoken. Make sure you use the coupon code outspoken at checkout and you will save 15% on your first order. So if you're tired of the sleepless nights, the hot flashes, or just feeling off, give Celbene a try. It's already helped so many of you, and I'm confident it can help even more of you feel better too. So I'll just repeat the address. That's www.buy.ver.so/outspoken. Use the coupon code outspoken. But now, back to the show.
Yes, it was a very hard time. I mean, she was kind to Diana, and she thought that it was very, very sad. But Prince Charles had, once he'd heard, and before he went into the children's bedroom to tell them they were up in Scotland, he rushed out into the green grass around them and phoned Camilla and said, you know, what am I going to do? This is just terrible. And she helped him get over that. She wasn't interested in saying, oh, goody, you know, we can start going together again. She just tried to help him in his sorrow, because he did love her at one level. The marriage didn't work, but he did love her at one level. And she helped him that, you know, be with the children. This is what you've got to do. Don't worry about me. And she did it that way. So it wasn't her actually thinking. I mean, it was a year before they really got together after Diana's death. She didn't want to behave in the wrong way.
So she was actually incredibly selfless.
Very selfless, very.
Gosh, that
Very.
must have been such a shocking phone call, though, Angela, to receive in the middle of the
Yeah.
night, because
Yes.
obviously
Yes.
the whole world changed, but
Yes.
her whole world changed at that moment.
Yes. She didn't know how it would turn out. I don't think that she was planning. She
And she
wasn't.
had tried to befriend, I mean, look, there they are. That was one of their early meetings. She had tried to befriend Diana, but it didn't go well. Let's be honest, Angela.
No, Diana felt that she was trying to ingratiate herself with her, and she didn't like that. And she was also jealous about her because she knew that Charles got on with her very well. I mean, it was a very difficult situation. And I think it's an older mother trying to tell a young, beautiful girl how to be a bit, you know, but very nicely. She and I think, you know, Diana didn't want to know, but that's fair enough. I don't think that she ever thought that she would get back with him at that time.
No. Fascinating stuff.
Interesting
All's
story,
well
isn't it,
that ends
really?
well. Oh my goodness. I mean, if you were writing a novel, you would not believe it. And of
Yeah,
course,
exactly.
it was happily ever after, but very sad because Diana was not around to see that. Lots of people, Angela, think actually Diana would have been friends with Camilla today. Do you agree with that?
I don't know. I don't know how people should be friends. But I do know that I feel that the people who made the wrong decision that Diana should marry Charles were the two grandmothers, the great grandmother of the Queen's mother and also Diana's grandmother, because they wanted the name of their family to be more important than it was. And so they thought that if they can get Diana to marry the king, then it should be put up the family right high up above. And I think that was actually awful, because I do believe that Diana had such a terrible childhood. She used to watch through the banister that her father would be hitting his wife, and when her mother left her, she felt that she'd done something terrible, that her mother had gone off with another man into Scotland. And she felt that she was responsible for her young brother, and that she couldn't manage it. And she used to say, at night, she would hear him crying, but she was frightened of the dark and couldn't get up. And the nannies they had were appalling. One would hit them in a wall, and they were all not very well looked after. But still, they wanted Diana to marry someone, and she wasn't ready for anything like that. So I think that's a terrible thing that happened.
It really is. It really is. But absolutely fascinating insight from you, Angela Levin. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.